And welcome back to What If. This is pre-recorded for today. Technically it's Tuesday on Monday. You know what I mean. It's out on Tuesday, so it's pre-recorded for the day I'm bringing it out. A quick side note for anyone who's curious, not that I doubt anyone really is, but I do not have a neck beard. I have mutton chops. There's a difference. I had someone comment that I look like I'm a combination of some things with a neck beard, and then someone just recently said, shave. No, I'm not shaving. Do you know actually how hard it is to grow solid mutton chops? And B, no, I actually do. I shave the other side. I do not neck beard it. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, this one comes to us. Technically, it's only one person, but technically it is two people who did this. So I'm going to go with two for the actual suggestion. And it is Tony Kage 2, and this name I may get wrong, but hold on. Philheinen Coley? Sorry, Phil, if I got your name wrong. Actually, there's no L, so it's Philheinen. Sorry, Coley, if I got your name wrong there. But they asked the question, technically it's what if Goku got Kaioken as a kid, but it's also what if Kaioken existed in Dragon Ball basically early on, like in Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. Ooh, excuse me about that, sorry. So to do this, who would win this what if properly, we have to know the starting ground for it. So we know in this what if, Kaioken exists on Earth during Dragon Ball. But how does it exist on Earth, and how does Goku learn it, basically? Because it would be Goku who learns it first before anyone else on the Z Fighters team. And I think it takes place during, how many years was that? It was like a 3-year time skip or something like that. Basically, the time he's training on Kami's Lookout, Popo and Kami, as part of his training, do introduce the concept of Kaioken to him. That it was something that maybe the previous deity knew as he had interacted with King Kai and Yama before, and that he had passed on to them in hopes that maybe, in case they had to defend the planet, they'd be able to do that. Now, they've never been able to pass it on themselves because no warriors really ever gotten to the Lookout, and Kami needs to stay guard. So, really, it's going to take place during then. So, yes, Goku will learn the Kaioken during those time period, or during that time frame. So, how did that change things? Well, Goku would be stronger because the Kaioken puts a giant strain on the body, particularly the higher you go in terms of the multiplier on it. Even a base Kaioken is basically adding half your power onto your base. Now, Goku's power level, I do think will be greater than his canon counterpart, but I don't think it'll be by a extreme amount. Like, honestly, I think he was roughly tied with Piccolo like 260. Goku's power is maybe like 300. But his body is a bit tougher in this, which is why he's able to handle a Kaioken now. But he's only able to really handle Kaioken. He can't do multipliers at this time in Dragon Ball when the tournament comes. Also, it's still really rough on his body, so he only uses it as a last resort. He can't maintain it for more than a couple seconds at a time, and even then, it's hard on his body right now. He just doesn't have the physical ability or the power level to keep it up. But anyway, the fight goes down, and Goku definitely is stronger than Piccolo in this case. He's able to hold his own. Giant Piccolo comes. He's still able to match Giant Piccolo. Their fight goes down. Piccolo takes out one of his limbs. Takes out another one of his limbs. Just as he's about to do the other one, that's when Goku actually cranks out his Kaioken for the first time in the fight and delivers basically the final blow. Not killing Piccolo. That it pretty much goes down exactly the same, except Goku used the Kaioken to take him down. So then you would move ahead to basically Dragon Ball Z. What has happened in that time frame? Well, two major things have happened in that time frame. Because none of the other Z Warriors, besides Piccolo's, I think their power has changed at all. Piccolo, knowing how strong Goku has become, has trained harder to try to match Goku. And I think his overall power level is somewhere in the neighborhood of 450, 475. I'd go 475. I think that's the right amount. His suppressed power is like 350 or something like that. Goku's power level, however, is greater. It just is. Goku's power was roughly around 300. With training with Kaioken to work on it, better control, just overall training in general, and farming radishes, Goku's power, I don't want to say it would double. I think doubling might still be a little too much to go with, but I think he'd probably be around 500 when it's all said and done. Also, I think that a standard Kaioken is something now he can maintain relatively okay. It'd be pushing it to the next step to Kaioken times 2, a double Kaioken that is harder on his body. He can't maintain that very long, but he can still do it temporarily. It's basically kind of like going up in increments for him now. If you were to do a triple, his body would pretty much explode. Um, so ultimately, Raditz comes down, beats both Goku and Piccolo initially. They meet up. They both take off their weight training clothes, and the fight breaks down. And it's a little not easier, but it's a little uh, more in their favor now. Like if they stood like a 5% chance of winning last time, they now have maybe a 15% chance of winning because of the training they've done together, or respectively. Obviously, Piccolo gets whacked around, his arm gets chopped off. Goku then powers up a Kaioken. It's like, Kaio what? And then, he whams into Radz with 750 power level, which does take Radz by surprise. And then they're going toe-to-toe with Goku having Kaioken like blaring. Radz doesn't know what to make of this thing. So they're going back and forth. I think Goku is still the better fighter between him and Radz when they meet, but Radz was just so much stronger that it pretty much overwhelmed him. So they're going back and forth. Goku basically says he has to crank it up even more and is about to go Kaioken times 2. But then Piccolo says, get out of the way, and then Makasapo, and then, blast it. Misses Raditz, but Raditz barely gets out of that like he does last time. Goku's surprised by this, and Raditz takes advantage of that and puts him on the ground. Gohan rages out, cracks Raditz's armor. That's when Goku just says, like, go on, as Raditz whacks Gohan around. Kaioken times 2! And then he powers up, smacks right into Raditz, and Kamehameha! Which, when he did it, it basically doubled his power. His power was actually not over doubled. That's not a term. It was over twice as strong. It wasn't quite 3 times, but it was like over twice as strong. At least when the scouter was reading his power overall. So that power's of like 2,000, and that does waste Raditz. But not before Raditz is able to throw a blast at Goku. And it does hit him in the chest. And unfortunately, Goku does go down for the count, unfortunately. So, as he's dying, he's like, oh, thanks, guys. He can just wish me back. And then he passes. And then there's the whole issue with the Saiyans. Radz's scouter maybe fell off or something like that. That's an easy explanation. So then Kami says you're going to go to King Kai and all that. La, la, la. Now, something that actually got brought up to me for a different what if stands out to me as something that I have completely overlooked in any of these multipliers I've done for Goku over any of my what ifs. Now, I'm not going to change the what ifs I've done to match the new information. But there is something called Insenji. Hold on one second. My Google search should probably, because I had to look it up. Insenji. Yeah, the Insenji in Dragon Ball Z is the fruit of King Yama. Now, to basically explain what this actually does, anyone who eats this fruit has their health and physical form restored. The fruit restores and doubles the consumer's energy and physical might. It also prevents them from losing stamina or needing sleep for nourishment for 3 straight months. It's that doubles the consumer's energy and physical might thing that stood out to me. I'm like, that's right, Goku ate that. Which means his overall power actually was doubled when he got to King Kai's. It completely, for every time I've done a what if involving Goku's training, I've completely forgotten about that. So it does bug me that I forgot about that. So I have to take that in consideration now that whole event takes place, and that Goku's power doesn't multiply by like 20. It multiplies more like, actually, that's a good question. What does it multiply by now? Let's see, 8. So it multiplies by about 10. It's about 10 times. Okay, so that's still a big margin, but not quite the same. And actually, it makes sense when you think about they probably went up about 10 times respectively on Namek, or between Saiyan Saga and Namek. So anyway, he'll get to King Kai with a power level now of roughly speaking 1,000. He'll be able to handle the gravity a little bit better now, but still, King Kai is aware that Goku knows the Kaioken, or even if he's not, Goku will show it off. It's like, I'm going to teach you the Kaioken. It's like, what, you mean this? And then he shows us like, wait, how did you? And then he explains that he's from Earth. It's like, so that guy actually was able to figure it out and taught it to someone else, huh? Well, I'll just actually have to teach you how to use the Kaioken to even greater heights. Excuse me. So that is actually what a lot of that training would actually consist of, would be Goku actually learning to use the Kaioken for higher purposes on King Kai's planet. And I think he would still get a higher multiplier than the average 10 because he's using Kaioken to amplify his training and amplify his use of the Kaioken. So where does Goku land power scale wise? Well, base form, I would actually say he's probably around, he's not 15,000. I'd say he's about 12.5. Kaioken wise, he can easily handle a triple at this point. And he can even go up to a 5 if he has to. Meanwhile, back on Earth, because they are all going to train with Kami at the lookout, minus Piccolo and Gohan, Krillin, every one of them gets a chance to learn the Kaioken. I think between them, it would only be actually Krillin and Tien, because they're the only real warriors between the 4 of those guys, or 5 of those guys, include Yajirobe. Chaozu's just not a martial artist in the same vein. His powers are more psychic based, and Yamcha, it's Yamcha. If you want me to do a what if Yamcha was actually became a hero or something like that, sure, fine. But let's not mince words. Yamcha is Yamcha. And I just don't think, even though he was still a serious martial artist at that point, I really don't think he would be putting a Kaioken or learning the Kaioken, or if he did, he would not be putting it to good use. Because he just stopped taking things seriously after a while, or maybe they just stopped writing him seriously. But that said, though, with at least Krillin and Tien knowing Kaioken, the training is up because they have stronger partners to train against. So I think Chaozu being at 800 is reasonable. I think Yamcha being probably around 1800 is reasonable. Krillin's base is around 1200 initially, but I would put it up to maybe 1600. And I think we can round Tien off to, I think Tien would actually be the strongest among them at around 2500. Kaioken, in terms of their multiplier, Krillin can only pull off maybe a double at best. Tien, again, I think both these guys can only go to maybe the double at this point. Anything beyond that is just going to be too much strain on their bodies, which we might see later play into a factor later on. Anyway, cut to when the Saiyans arrive, and the Cybermen stuff goes about the same. However, Yamcha, I think, does survive the kamikaze tech because he is a little stronger. He's relatively stronger, but he's near death. He tries to get up. It's like, I can't get up. And, it's like, we got you. It's like, oh, no, you don't. And then Nappa comes in and starts taking them all on. Chaozu blows himself up. But, Tien uses the Kaioken, immediately goes to near Nappa's full strength. And Nappa's surprised, and they actually duking out for a while. Krillin joins in the fray, and is in him and Piccolo are actually giving Nappa a pretty solid fight, because Krillin with Kaioken added on is roughly 2,900, and Piccolo is 3,500. And Piccolo is like, where did they learn? That's Goku's technique. Where did they wait? And then he realizes that great old bastard copy. And then so they're putting all the stops out. This is when Chaozu would come in, do the kamikaze, blow up Nappa. Nappa's got a little bit of scuff on him. He's overall fine. And Tien's just like, no, Chaozu! And then he just powers up his Kaioken to the max. Just ×2! And then he powers up, and he just starts wailing on Nappa, who at this point he is much stronger than, because Nappa's still suppressed. Just does that, and just, Nappa's like, he's got a lot stronger. Vegeta's like, and then Vegeta's actually reading, it's like, around 5,000. That's how does that thing so strong? And Tien's just raging out, just and this Shin Gekko! And then just blasts him. Just blasts his ass. But Nappa had powered up while that was happening. And he's, that being said, at 7,500, he survives the blast. But he's now missing an arm. Just going, yeah, well, it's like, you think that'll stop me? I'm gonna, y'all make a Mesoma, and then basically does the energy blast that pretty much annihilates. It's about to annihilate Tien. Tien pretty much falls down to the ground dead, kind of next to Yamcha's like, and then you see who's barely standing up there with a hand up. It's like, I'm gonna end you! Opens his mouth again to do a blast, but this time the energy ball that Yamcha had floating in comes in and just blasts him. And then just blasts Yamcha. Yamcha's now dead. So you now have Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo, who are both now just they're in trouble here. By the way, I got Krillin's power level wrong. It'd be like 2,400. If I Kaioken times 2, then they'd be around 3,200. They're both like, it's like, oh no, we're in trouble. And then they sense Goku's energy come, and it's like, we gotta hold him off just a little bit longer. It's like, Mr. Piccolo, I'm scared. It's like, I'm gonna destroy you. So it's like, no, go on. No, and then he takes the blast and he goes down and Kami's out of the picture and Piccolo's out of the picture. Krillin does come in with the Destructivus from behind, and Yamcha, Nappa's barely able to avoid it, but he still just takes a nice nick to the face. Just, and it's like, and then just smacks Krillin around their boat, and then Gohan rages out, blasts him again with his only good arm. It's just now cinched. So Nappa's just fucked over at this point. He's still towering over them, this one-armed giant monster of a man, but now he's in serious pain and he's just weakened. And then Goku shows up, suppressed around at 5,000. He's able to get them Senzu beans, Gohan and Krillin. He's like, guys, go ahead. I've got to take care of this myself. Then he powers up to his full power, base power of 12,500, and then lays waste to Nappa. Lays waste to Nappa. I said waste laced. Lays waste to Nappa. Just boom, breaks his back. And at this point, Vegeta just ends him because he can't fight anymore. He's missing an arm, all that stuff. So they look at each other. They square off. It's like, And the initial confrontation, it's even. Goku's probably the more skilled fighter, but it's the initial confrontation. Vegeta's still stronger. He uses Kaioken, and Vegeta says, "Your friends tried that technique. It won't do you any good now, Kakarot." And then Vegeta tries to come in, but Goku's now just as strong as Vegeta, fully powered. So he just grabs and just boom, and then just smacks him again. Vegeta powered up the full. So it's Kaioken Goku versus Vegeta. They're going back and forth a little bit. Goku barely edging him out, but still he figures Kaioken times 2 times what? And then he's again around 25,000 versus 18,000. Goku's now completely owning his ass. Then he just decides to, screw this. The hell of this planet. Oh, that's not very nice. Of course not. I'm evil. So the Gallic Gun, and then Gallic Gun fire, Kamehameha, and then Kaioken times 3, which power-wise would put him at like 3,700, something like that, or 37,000. Sorry, with the Kamehameha like probably 45, which easily overpowers Vegeta. Vegeta goes flying. He's hurt. And then he brags about the moon and all that, and throws the moon up, and artificial moon's there. Goku's now on the back burner. Kaioken times 3 blaring, which he can handle easy. Kind of tagging Vegeta here and there, but ultimately he's in a lot of trouble. Vegeta grabs and is trying to crush him, and then Goku's just like, Kaioken times 4! Boom! Which is basically kind of how the triple affected him in the initial canon. He can handle it, but it's definitely straining his body somewhat. So he just boom, like bursts out of his hands there, just boom, and then just blasts him point blank. Just because power-wise he would be about 50,000. And then Goku's now trying to do the Spirit Bomb, and Vegeta's blinded. His eyes aren't like gone. He's not blind, but he's blinded. He can't open his eyes at all right now. And Goku's powering up. The difference in this circumstance is Goku actually is able to complete and launch the Spirit Bomb at Vegeta. And by the time Vegeta opens his eyes, it comes at Goku, but Goku immediately Kaioken's briefly the other way, and then just throws it right at Vegeta, who takes a Spirit Bomb straight to the face. or straight to the body, and just boom, and then just fall, and he's just giant ape Vegeta is still standing, but he's worse for which. Is that all you got, Kakarot? And then Goku's just still doing a Kaioken, just goes back to a 3, and then just sees the tail, remembers Gohan, and basically remembers what he learned. And he transforms and just takes off Vegeta's tail with his instructor, just courtesy of Krillin. Well, actually, I could see him try to go in. Vegeta does grab and starts to crush him again, but this time it was Yajirobe takes off the tail, and Krillin uses a Destructo Disc to basically do a solid injury to Vegeta. Sink, which as he's shrinking, so he's got when he shrinks back down, he's got this nice little sliced hole into him. Still alive though, and he's got. I would guess the Saiyan pots have some basic medical equipment in there, but he's able to, get back and all that stuff. Goku lets him go as per usual, and they're off. Goku is injured, so we will get a bit of a Zenkai, but it's nothing serious. But he probably ends up spending a little time in the hospital. And that's where we're going to leave it. At the end of the Saiyan arc, all the people who were dead in the canon for Namek are dead now. Goku, but Krillin and Tien both know the Kaioken. So that does change some things up. Absolutely it does. Will other characters learn the Kaioken? Maybe. I'll have to see if it's justified in the story, because right now the only people who can teach Kaioken are, well, technically speaking, Goku could have taught it anytime he wanted to in the canon, but anytime in terms of the actual people who taught Kaioken, King Kai and Kami and Popo are the only ones available who can teach Kaioken. So that's how we're going to view it for the time being. Now, if Dende becomes the Guardian again, which there's no saying he will or won't, that the ability to teach it will be passed down to Dende, so he'll be able to do that too. So until then, we'll see where it goes. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. If you have ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Super Magic, What If, anything I do on the channel, put that in the comments below. Let me know. I'll do it at some point. I'm going to be pre-recording a lot of videos on technically, this is still Monday, but tomorrow, today, Tuesday, I'm going to be pre-recording a lot of it. I got to pre-record Wednesdays Who Would Win and What If. Then I got to pre-record Thursdays What If, because then I'm going out. As much as I'm going to try to see all the major stuff coming out. I'm definitely seeing Mary Poppins on Wednesday. I may have to skip a movie for some reasons on Thursday, but I'm definitely seeing Aquaman on Friday. And then probably have to cram out the other movies between Sunday and Christmas Eve. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one, folks.